Undertaker is back in a big way.
Undertaker says way too much. By the way, he's talking like, yeah. So we went to Chicago, and then we went to Mike's, and then me and Mike we went to get pizza, and then
I didn't catch that, but now I'm not going to be able to not pay attention to that next time they have the thing.
Really, an interview he doesn't do it now because he's it's so edited. But if you go watch him and Ariel Hawani that interview,
Mm-hmm.
he says every 20 seconds.
All right. Well, before we continue, let's say welcome back to the podcast. I don't want someone to. I feel like Breach would text me and be like, "The podcast got cut off at the beginning," and I'd be like, "No, that's just how we started." You know what I mean? Yeah. So welcome back. We're here talking about the Undertaker, little episode / Michael Jordan knockoff that they have on the WWE network. I don't know why I just plugged the network. I'm not getting paid. But
pretty damn good episode 2.
I like 2 better than 1.
And you thought 1 should end it, so that shows.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
2 was
it gave you more in depth, on what was going on, and he was watching the match and he realized how bad it was, and then he got his hip replaced. And I mean, okay, I'm gonna cut you off there, but can we not show that? Can we just not show that? Can we just show him going in and coming out? Do we need to see him get his hip replaced?
I'm watching it. I'm like, they're gonna go in the thing. Think about imagine you're doing surgery and there's a camera guy in the corner. No one thinks about that when you're watching this footage. Everyone's in hazmat suits.
I didn't need to see that. I didn't need to see a stupid bone. You know what I mean?
They were hammering at that
time. I had to skip that. I had to skip it because I was not ready for that.
Bro, it was like they were chipping away bricks. You know what I mean? Put a hammer to a brick and start hitting it, hitting the nail
warn us before. You know what I mean?
Viewer discretion is advised. Skip over. Give me a little skip ski. Old Bill was Undertaker retired. Mm-hmm. But during the match, he felt like he didn't live up to his last match stipulation. He left it all in the ring, even though he didn't really live it all in the ring because he was injured at the time, WrestleMania 33. So he gets his hip replacement, and just like every other wrestler, when he gets his hip replacement or something gets fixed, or even fighters, when they take time off, they're like, hey, I could come back. I feel better than ever, and I could do this. I could do one more. Let me redeem myself. The Redemption Tour. This is the Undertaker Redemption Tour.
When he went in for surgery, they freaking played his theme. How crazy is that? That. When I thought about that, and I was like, okay, I mean, God forbid something went wrong there, and the last thing he hears is his theme of the gimmick where he is the dead man. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's okay, that's a little weird, but all right, I respect it.
So pretty much, this is building up to him and Vince having a meeting, and you don't realize that you finally find the relationship between Vince McMahon and the Undertaker, and they're pretty much best friends / brothers. They're ride or dies. Vince is ride or die is the Undertaker, and the Undertaker's ride or die is Vince. Undertaker literally said, I would take a bullet for him. And Vince, when asked the question, how important is Undertaker to you, he got so choked up they had to cut off the interview because that could be a whole shoot interview in itself.
Yeah, that was crazy because you don't really see obviously you see Vince cry a lot, but I mean half of me is oh, that's just probably him being a worker. He's working himself into a shoot by crying. But yeah, he was really he didn't want to answer that question. It's not he wasn't asked why don't you put Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame, or what do you think about the Owen Hart thing? It was literally just, what does Undertaker mean to you? It took that to
literally, it's as if he is one of his own children. That's how emotional he got.
Yeah, that was crazy to see.
It's just wild. It makes sense though why Undertaker always comes back, because Vince is always changing his minds on here, there, and whatever. And it's it's crazy. You finally realize Undertaker is will do anything for this guy, because it wasn't for Vince, Undertaker wouldn't be Undertaker. Even when he said he told him like pretty much straighten up. Like you're pretty much in your own head, essentially, he was saying. And like Undertaker was like, if it was any other guy, I would have like pretty much knocked him out. But it was Vince. It was like, oh shit, I should get my shit together.
Yeah, they went to like they had that like I don't even know what it was. It was like a rundown building,
Like an
like
abandoned building.
abandoned building where they built the ring, and I was just like, I was like thinking about it. They just built the ring in a random place. Like, imagine you live in that town and you just see this abandoned place and you pass by it every day on the way to work, and like little do you know, the Undertaker is just like training to get back into the ring, like in that building right there. I mean, that was
Bro,
just a
I would
little weird
have
thing.
taken pictures and stuff there. I'd be like, you're telling me I passed by this stupid place every day on my way to work, and that's where he was training the whole time?
I would be camping out. I'd be like, all right, well, gotta meet the Undertaker. Like, I'd be like, hey, Undertaker, like, I'll help you, like, mop the floor or something. Like, you know what I mean? But just like the Edge documentary, Edge had, what was it, Dash Wilder. This time, we learned that Undertaker had Primo. And that was pretty crazy to see just because there's these, like, wrestlers that you just, like, on TV, they're jobbers, but like in like you take them out of their character and they're fantastic wrestlers and they know so much about the business, and I
You
don't
always think
know.
jobber wrestlers are bad wrestlers or mediocre wrestlers, but there's
Yeah,
probably like the highest tier of wrestler because they're workers. Like
yeah,
they are pretty much like the mechanics guy.
yeah, and it kind of sucks that they probably are, some of the best wrestlers in like the industry, but they're being treated as garbage. And
Yeah.
that's like, I don't understand how, um like how does Primo not get like pushed, you know what I
Like
mean?
wasn't Hawkins the one that helped train The Rock when he came back?
Yeah, it was Hawkins and it was Michael McGillicuddy.
Yeah. Like and then they were well, McKillicuddy had his minor push, but Hawkins never had a chance.
Yeah. So I mean, it does it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't make sense. And I'm glad that those are the companies that are using these guys that Vince wouldn't have anything to do with. And it's a documentary like this where you like listen to Vince being interviewed and you look at that guy and you're like, man, like, he's such a wholesome guy. But then you think about it and it's like, hold on. Like, this is the fool that you hear the stories about and you hear him mistreating talent and not using them in the ways that they should be used. And he runs this company that, like, they take talent just because they don't want other companies to take them, and then they just let them sit in catering or whatever. He doesn't
One point,
creatively.
Undertaker was gonna leave to like he was remember he was a new Starcast. Like he was
Yeah.
out of there. He's like, no, I'm not losing the one guy that's been my ride or die. I'm bringing him back, and he's not doing any more of these autograph signings anymore. Like Undertaker was literally about to go too
Hmm.
in 2018. Like remember
So.
when he did the Starcast thing? People were like losing their minds.
Hmm.
But
But.
they also showed Undertaker with his kids, which is very like these are super rare footage because I used to follow Michelle McCool on Twitter on Instagram.
Hmm.
I got tired of her, but like when she posts pictures of her kids, she always blocks the kids' faces,
Yeah,
and like
up to this point,
in in the documentary, I was like, that's so weird.
up to that trampoline scene, every time they showed the kids, they always like were blocked in some way that was like a camera trick. But all of a sudden they cut to the trampoline. I'm like, because like up to that point I thought the same thing where I was like, oh, they don't want to show their kids, which I totally understand. But like, I mean, all of a sudden they're on the trampoline and I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, what?
Like you're contradicting everything you've done in the past. Like you literally have not just pictures, footage of your children
Yeah,
on
and it's not
camera.
like they threw it in. It's not like they threw that footage in there to like, like WWE did that without them knowing. Like the camera was staring at them as they were watching their kids on the
You
trampoline.
think Undertaker, he doesn't want his kids to be shown, is not going to be shown on camera? They're going to get that. They're going to cut that footage so fast.
Yeah.
Like they're not even getting shot in
Hmm.
scenes. But
Um,
we got to see Undertaker, the story of Michelle McCool and Undertaker's relationship, which was nice. It was funny when they showed the Royal Rumble and like they showed Michelle McCool just eliminating people. And I remember at the time, like, of course, it's like It's Undertaker's wife. She's gonna look
Yeah.
strong regardless.
Yeah.
Um,
Mrs. Undertaker. She's got to look strong.
but the build to 34, I'm like the whole time I'm thinking because Undertaker's like I'm the best shape I've ever been in. Like I
Hmm.
feel the best I've ever felt. Sorry, I'm gonna get in shape. I feel great. Like he literally was saying like this could be as good as 25.
Yeah, that was crazy to hear.
And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I know how this ends. It's a 2 minute match. John Cena Undertaker at Mania. And it's like they're building and building and building. Like, okay, I'm like praying. I'm like, please don't like get to that match when they stare down and then like next episode we see the downfall. But it's like they get to the match, he's there, they show the match, and then that's the end. Because and the way they looked at like remember when he kicked everyone out of the room and
Hmm.
he's like get out of the room, like is Undertaker gonna have like a panic attack and be like, all right, let's scrap the match, let's do a quick 2 minute squash and then I'm out of there? Because that's how I thought it seemed like it was building to. Then they do it and they come back, everyone's hugging, whatever, and then it's like, oh yeah, it was a lot shorter than I thought. And I'm like, bro, this is like not even 10 minutes you'd had a match, not even 5 minute match, it was like 2.5 minutes.
And here's the thing. Didn't in the first episode, he say that he what was it? I think it was against Sean, where they like were only given a certain amount of time, and um, like they ran past that time. Like I think it was a
Yeah.
25 match where they were only like allowed like I don't know like 15 minutes or something, and they went like
Which is
30.
wild.
So
Which is wild because like that match was literally the biggest match on the card.
and like if Taker wanted to, he could have done it with the Cena match. So I don't know what he's complaining about. You know what I mean?
I know, like going into that 2 minutes, that's like the dumbest thing ever. First of
Wasn't it
all,
five? Didn't he say it was
no,
five?
the whole segment might have been 5 or like 10 or whatever with his entrance, his thing, and the exit. Because like if you watch that match when he does the tombstone and he does the 1 2 3, he like goes to Cena's like fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Like you go back and watch that. Like on his face, he's like I'm done.
It was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. That's insane.
And I remember that after that, he was pretty much like he was. No, he wasn't done then. Then he did the Saudi thing. That's why. Never mind. I'm confusing 2 years. 2019 is when he did when he's about to go to Vegas for Starcast.
Hmm.
But it's okay. Also, WrestleMania 34. If you had to rebook it, that match should have been on last, even if it was 3 minutes,
Yeah.
because this is what they do. They do I can't even talk about it. They do the Elias thing. No Undertaker. Cena walks back. Remember that garbage WrestleMania 34 main event of Brock versus Reigns, where Reigns literally kicked out of 6 F5s and then Brock pinned him on the 7th? And that match ends, and then lights go out, lights come back on, Taker's in the ring, Cena comes out, had the 3 minute match. Undertaker wins, we go home happy. That would have been the best way to end that Mania.
What was
And
the
they
main event?
the Roman versus Brock. And then
Oh
Brock
yeah.
and then Roman was just like, what the hell? And that was the end of the show. Brock
Yeah.
Brock left, the camera was on Roman, like, oh my god, I lost. So I'm saying like they should have let it they should have done that and like let Roman walk out and be like, oh, that was the end of Mania, like making
Hmm.
people forget. And then
And
Undertaker's like the lights go out, Undertaker's in the ring.
yeah. And then
And
he
then
like
Roman
says, "All right, Cena."
and then Cena would the Cena music hit and then boom, we would have had the match, entrance, fireworks, go home.
That would be crazy. I mean, yeah. I
Like
mean,
that way better. Like if you're gonna use Undertaker for 3 minutes, that would have been way better.
yeah. End it with that, especially
And
after.
like no one would have thought the match was short because like it was like close to the end. Maybe they ran out of time, whatever. Like, and everyone would have been like, "Oh, that was like cool."
Hmm. But I mean, it's WWE. What are you gonna expect? You know what I mean? So
But I was marking out when okay, so Cena Undertaker. I've been waiting for this match since 2007 I know they wrestled once. They even showed it on the footage.
yeah.
But that was when Cena was brand new to WWE, and when Undertaker won the Rumble, remember that stare down when he picked like Lashley, Batista, or Cena?
Hmm.
I was begging Cena Taker, and that never happened. And for
Hmm.
years, like every time, like I would like they're teasing it. I remember MSG in 2009 on a Raw, like they did like Jericho and DX versus I think it was Undertaker and Kane or something. I can't remember exactly, but like, or was it triple threat match? Anyways, Taker, Tombstone, Cena. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna build to like WrestleMania 26 or something, but like that didn't happen. And like every year they never had the match that like was so easy. Like how is this not a WrestleMania main event match? Title versus streak, even Cena. I don't know. Like I know they don't want Cena to be like a bad guy or get booed, but like he's gonna get booed anyways.
Hmm.
And then they finally do it after Taker's off his prime. I knew they were going to do it at 32, but Cena got injured. But at 34, it was like, all right, it's going to go down. We'll have at least 5-10 minute match, maybe 10 minutes. And then it was like 2 minutes, which I enjoyed. I always predicted it would be a squash. I'm fine with it. But it's like, now we're watching back and I'm like, damn, I wish they like booked it at the end or had a longer match.
And then obviously at the end of the episode, we got a peek for next week. And oh boy,
Oh, it's like a big one because this is, you thought the 34, he's like, all right, I feel great. And then it's all downhill from here.
it really is. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like I I just it doesn't have it never happened in my mind. Like it just never happened in my mind. I didn't watch it. I was upset. I was mad. Shawn Michaels was the only guy that like ever stayed true to his word because I got all worked up about Ric Flair and the Ric Flair's on stupid TNA. And then Shawn Michaels was the only guy where he's like, I'm retiring and I'm done. Like I would never come back for anything. Like obviously, it depends. Like it would have to be something crazy and he ruined it on this, and I will never forgive him for it. And
Definitely at the time too, because it literally happened right after All In. So you're all hyped off this show, and then Shawn Michaels like, "Hey, I'm coming back," and you're like, "Oh, I hate this company even more now."
well, here's the thing: you had WrestleMania 32, where frickin' Mick Foley and Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels comes out and he looks amazing. Like he looks exactly like I remember him when I started to watch wrestling. So
Yeah,
where's that Shawn Michaels? But instead you got old man, old man Hickenbottom with old man Levesque, and it's just like
and we got
against
Taker and Kane, and it's like it
old
was a
man
shit show.
Brothers of
But
Destruction.
next week will be the rant of all rants, probably.
It'll be interesting to say the least. So yeah, I just gotta say, so Justin, you've been getting into like the Barstool world kind of here. Part of my take, which is the podcast with Big Cat and PFT, Breach talks about it sometimes. Um, they just tweeted eyeball emoji, eyeball emoji, eyeball emoji, and then it's Undertaker sitting up. So I'm assuming that they have a interview with Undertaker coming out tonight slash tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that one because you know, like Undertaker in an interview doesn't do many of those. Well, now he does, but you know what I mean. Should be
He's trying to
interesting.
he's trying to he's trying to do some PR. He's trying to get his name out there since his doc is out, so he could do interviews now.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
than virtual ones he did, which were kind of weird.
Now that the Jordan one's over, it's all about him now. So
There you have it. We'll be back
there it
next week.
is. Yeah, and we'll talk to you again after a while.
Sure.